All right, so let's go over Microsoft Excel and how to format the date appropriately, just because Excel is a little tricky and we've had some users using it that don't understand how to do it. So let's get into it. All right, so I got my CRM here. A lot of it's blurred out just for confidentiality. I'm not trying to show everybody all my clients' data, but let's look at these two columns here. It's going to look different from you, but it's going to be somewhat similar. You're going to have a date of birth column and an MBI column, okay? Just for simplicity, this might say birth date or something. Just put it as DOB. And for MBI, it might be Medicare number. Just put it as MBI. And then in here, this is what's a little tricky, is that by default, Microsoft Excel will put the dates in this format. So what we need to do is right-click here, hit Format Cells, and this is what's a little tricky, but follow me here. We're going to come down to Custom and scroll down a little bit, and you're going to scroll down to this one that says MMM-YY, right? Now, underneath type, just backspace, dash, DD, YYYY. Okay, so MM dash DD dash, excuse me, dash YYYY. That's 4 of them. All right, and then hit OK. Beautiful. Now we're good. We're done reformatting. All right, so then from here, you have to download this as a CSV. You download it as anything else, ain't gonna work. Download it as a CSV. All right, cool. Now we head into MediZues and click and you can drag, drop, or just find your file. All right, this is the one that I just exported 2 seconds ago from Google Sheets. Import. Boom, here we are. So you'll see that MediZues found the column that had the MBIs and found the column that had the date of births, and it put them right here and right here. All right. And then from here, the main thing that you're going to do in the next step is just going to be clicking the top left checkbox. It's going to highlight all the rows, and then you just hit fetch data, right? And you hit fetch, and it's going to fetch all that good data. So what are some issues? We're going to do a little bit of troubleshooting here. I'm going to go deep. So what are some issues that you guys are going to have? Okay. When you import into MediZues, you might get some sort of error message that wasn't imported correctly. Okay. There's 4 main reasons why that might happen. Okay. The date of birth is not in MM-DD-YYYY. Okay. That's going to be the main. So you might have it as, right, date of birth. It might look like this for you. When you export it, it might look like that. All right. But we don't want that. Remember, you want to go to format, number, you want to make it look like that. Okay. Another reason why your importing isn't going to be working correctly is you have multiple columns that are labeled MBI, or you have multiple columns labeled date of birth. So like, let's say you have, this column labeled MBI, but you have another column over here labeled MBI. That's going to fuck it all up. Or if you have another column labeled like Medicare number, okay, that's going to mess it up. Because what MediZues is trained to do is to find one single column that has MBIs. Same thing with date of birth. I don't know why you would record somebody's date of birth twice or have the column header date of birth twice, but if you have date of birth and then you have date of birth over here, why you would do that? But if you did, that's going to mess up MediZues. It's just looking for one single column with the header being date of birth. Another reason is you didn't export it as a CSV. Okay, just not going to work. It needs to be a CSV. Blank rows. We engineered MediZues to be able to skip blank rows. So what'll happen is, like, for example, on this one, all right, I have the date of birth, but I don't have the MBI. What MediZues is going to do is not going to import the date of birth. So you need both cells to have value in the same row for it to import. So yeah, and then if you have blank rows, that might be messing it up. But we train MediZues to just skip over blank rows and keep going. But in the odd event that you maybe have like 2 or 3 blank rows in a row, that can mess up the import. The other thing is, just workflow. Let's just talk about workflow for a second and importing. So let's say you have a CRM over here and you have a CRM over here. Like let's say you use multiple CRMs and you want to combine them into MediZues. Well, I thought about that. So you can import multiple different CSV files into here. So let's say I have all this data over here and I want to import another CRM from Salesforce, for example, right? This was agent CRM. I want to export from Salesforce and import into MediZues. Well, you just hit import again, make sure it's formatted the correct way, and just hit import, and it's going to lay it on top of all the data that you have right now. It's beautiful. So if you have CRM, or if you want to like export from United Healthcare, you want to export from Humana, Cigna, you could put all of them into here, and it will just put one import on top of the next, and then you just fetch them all at the same time. That's really beautiful. Right, let's say that you're a massive Medicare agent, you produce a ton of business, and you're constantly updating your CRM. What we're working on is Zapier integration, so don't worry about that. That's going to be awesome when it's released. But what you can do for now is, like, let's say you have all this data in here, you just hit add row, and you can put in their MBI or date of birth right there. Just copy, paste, right? We want to make it as easy as possible. Zapier is coming, don't worry, but this is what we got right now. It's super powerful. It takes about 2 minutes. Once you get the hang of it, you're going to be really good at it, and it should. Really appreciate you guys. Look forward to doing business with you. I love Medicare agents. See you next.